It's all crap. And people need to stop gaslighting these stories, giving these stories air to breathe. End this story now. Stop talking about this story. It's not a story. Okay? Other channels, stop talking about it. Stop giving attention to it.
What it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'll address that topic among other topics on this show today. This show, which I'm not supposed to do. So we'll be as forthright and honest as possible, as we have been. We'll address that topic. The what do I want to call it? Campaign to make everybody, and me, I guess, stop talking about this story. This story, which, by no fault of my own, I'm interested in. And because of forces I can't control, other people are interested in it, and nobody else happens to be covering it. So it's beyond my control how many people want to see this information. I'm actually just doing what I normally do, which is cover what I'm interested in, regardless of the backlash. So I'll give you a full response to that. That's the I'd say most of what I see out there is that I shouldn't cover this. Let me do this. Let's get first into the mainstream media, because I have another shout out for Ben Collins. Okay, Ben Collins. There's Doshi. Ben Collins wrote this article for NBC. He decided to come out on NBC and break the damn story that if you casually put in Tom Hanks, if you're doing a casual search, which I'm not sure what that is, for Tom Hanks, it's going to come up with videos that say he's a pedo. Okay. And one of those videos that shows up in the articles they've written and stuff is mine. And in fact, someone might be emailing me a clip from tonight's nightly news where apparently my channel was featured. So I want to call out the fake news first. Ben Collins and all the crusading journalists whose mission it is to regulate speech on other platforms, competing platforms, right? We don't go after your platform, although maybe we should start. But Ben Collins, this crusading journalist, casually put in Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, apparently, and was amazed to find that because somebody had said Steven Spielberg is a pedophile, somebody else had said something about Tom Hanks, and because somebody on YouTube talked about it, because people watched it, that he had a problem with that. That kind of misinformation can't be in the public eye. I think his suggestion would be that it would be taken down off YouTube. I have some video of the guy. It's fake news. It's fake news because they claim that people who are interested in pedophilia, who are interested in exposing pedophilia, and this includes James Gunn, for people who think we're ignoring other issues to focus on, well, I'll address it, it's this left, liberal mainstream media outlets that are defending what everybody agrees, most likely even all the people who disagree with the entire concept of what's happening right now on this channel will agree, I think, that the James Gunn tweets were totally inappropriate, exposed what kind of things go on, and somebody who works for Disney, directs kids' movies, saying all this stuff which is inappropriate for any rational thinking human, and gets fired from his job at Disney as a result of that, because Disney is a family company, and it maybe is embarrassing to have somebody who has tweets, regardless of how old, that are not even jokes about pedophilia. They're not even jokes. There aren't any punchlines. Now, there are some people who tried to joke, but they weren't jokes. And somebody on the left is saying that, ignoring completely the content of the tweets, and claiming that everything, including this stuff we're talking about with Isaac Kappy and Sarah Ruth Ashcraft, is part of a right-wing QAnon conspiracy theory. And that's fake news. That's fake news because I don't know anybody talking about it on YouTube and except for me and maybe Bill Smith. I'm not sure. So I don't know who they're talking about that's part of a QAnon conspiracy theory, or that it's a Trump, that we're going after people that are anti-Trump, because I'm not doing that. I don't like Donald Trump. I talk about it all the time. I supported him in the election. I think Hillary Clinton is a demon. I'm more of a decentralized type. I'd like to see, I think the entire system needs to go down. And, I have some information about Donald Trump that makes me not really think that he's cleaning up corruption the way he says he is. But I respect everybody who thinks that. But fake news, making it a right-left thing, whether you have problems with pedophilia, they're making it so that you only have problems with pedophilia if you're on the right and you like Donald Trump. That's fake news, and he should address it. He should. I mean, my videos are featured in all the stories about it. So, and I'm not part of QAnon. That's how I know in general that this did not originate, the evidence leads me to believe that this did not originate as a QAnon psyop. It wasn't propagated from the central hub of QAnon. And I know that because I'm not into that. It's okay. I'm cool with people who are. The point is, it's not a right-left thing. And they are either in a total bubble or they're lying intentionally to make it seem like it's only the right that has a problem with what's potentially being exposed or what is being exposed. It is everybody. Doesn't matter if people like Trump or don't like Trump. People don't like pedophilia. They don't like pedophilia in Hollywood. We know it exists. Plenty of people have talked about it. We had a guest on our show last night who is widely considered the most credible victim or survivor of satanic ritual abuse, elite pedophile rings, MK Ultra. That's Fiona Barnett, who was on my channel last night, and she says that she was trafficked to Meryl Streep. So that's a real thing. Someone who's testified in front of the government, been part of panels, given speeches around the world, highly targeted. That person remembers being trafficked to Meryl Streep and says, that grand dame of Hollywood, that's Luciferian, which it actually is. So if anything, we're confirming the general idea of what Isaac was saying, what Sarah Ruth Ashcraft is saying. I'll tell you why I'm talking about it, because, I know people are upset. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. Over my shoulder is Doshi. He produces the show. We have a t-shirt company. We started to help support the show and also to do something completely different. This show shouldn't be like any different than any other. I'm wearing my favorite shirt, which we just got, Decentralized, which I think is really the solution to everything. It's not just a Bitcoin thing. We opened a store at truthclothing.io. I'll show you that store. Really proud of it. Our customers really love the stuff, and you get something. It's not about just giving away money to support the show, but actually buying something you might need anyway, with a message that really stimulates people's minds when they see you walking down the street. So here's some of the stuff we have. The Truth Matters t-shirt has been super popular. The Russian bot one too. Anyway, they're all great. The designs are, anyway, can't bring family into this, but we do a good job. We have Doshi stickers and stuff too, bumper stickers. It's all at truthclothing.io. You can see reviews on there. We have free shipping over $50. We don't even mention it on the website though. Free shipping in the US over $50. And it's really great stuff. You'll like it. So let me play you what's going on with the mainstream news reporting on this after an article yesterday by this guy, Ben Collins, who I really think should retract the story. They're making it seem like this is a right-wing QAnon conspiracy theory, that it goes along with the Operation Backyard Brawl that Louis Arthur was involved in with the rape trees. And I'm just here to say it's not. If I'm the one talking about it and people are listening to this channel, then it's not. Because I'm not a part of that. I've been talking shit about it forever. You need to do research. I'll show you this.
YouTube is the most popular platform in the world, but now it's coming under fire once again for allowing conspiracy theories and misinformation to spread, attempting to discredit Hollywood stars and major corporations.
This morning, 2 Hollywood icons, the targets of false conspiracy theories on YouTube.
Steven Spielberg is a pedophile.
I'm just showing you that Tom Hanks is part of the system.
A casual search for Tom Hanks on YouTube turned up videos accusing the movie star of being a pedophile. Director Steven Spielberg getting the same treatment. The videos come from a fast-growing right-wing internet community called QAnon. It pushes false allegations that a child sex ring is being run by Hollywood celebrities and Democrats.
So they show 2 screenshots. That's my video at the top, where I really just played Isaac Kappy's Periscope, and I guess I was one of the only people to do that. And then it was also a video of mine in the screenshot. And my only point is, it's not part of a QAnon right-wing conspiracy theory. It's genuinely people who are genuinely concerned, and then other people that genuinely want to stop what I'm reporting on. So the people watching this, there's some mix of that. Not necessarily people who started this because QAnon told them to.
Politicians. All of this uncovered by NBCnews.com.
There were a couple of them with hundreds of thousands of views in less than 5 days. So we're talking millions of people and growing.
Their content.
If you can tweet this at Ben Collins, you just let him know. I mentioned it in the last article. I'm just waiting for him to retract what he's saying, because it makes it appear that not everyone is concerned about this stuff.
And is posted across social media platforms, including on a popular app that was recently banned from the Apple App Store. Celebrities like Roseanne and Kurt Schilling have also pushed the group's bogus conspiracies on social media. The apparent goal, to discredit individuals who do not support the Trump administration.
This particular point of view is being pushed in part because of just straight up political malfunction.
Not political malfunction. Has nothing to do with that. So for people who are interested, has nothing to do with politics. Has nothing to do with Donald Trump. You're wrong. You're fake news. If when you put your name into YouTube right now, the first video that comes up says Ben Collins is fake news. I just got the idea from the story you told. Now you put in Ben Collins on YouTube, the first video is a video that says Ben Collins is fake news. You're fake news. Get it right, For everybody who's mad at me, this is the alternative. So you can tune in here or you can tune into this.
Let's say in the internet where the wildest things sort of gain traction.
After NBC News contacted YouTube, the search results changed, with legitimate videos coming up first. But the conspiracy videos still show up further down in the search results. And YouTube has not been taking them down, saying in part they have created tools to fix the problem. Saying, as these tools start to apply more widely across YouTube, we believe they will make authoritative content readily available and help address these types of results.
God bless YouTube, by the way. I'll address the concerns people have next, okay? YouTube, there's nothing to ban, okay? People are really, really concerned that this is about censorship. There's actually nothing to censor, okay? Unless they just decided, oh, we're going to censor anything with Isaac Kappy in it, okay? And then, you don't have to cover Isaac Kappy. It can just be my channel that gets taken down. I'll get into a full-throated talk about that. I guess I have it on my mind. That says they're going to apply tools that bring up authoritative content readily available. They're actually not interested. They're generally not interested in taking things off YouTube that keep people spending time on YouTube. I'd say my experience, everybody talks about being shadow banned. I know the numbers for sure on my interview with Isaac were definitely wrong, or it was definitely suppressed. So, I don't know what that means. Sometimes the numbers just report in less, but not very often. Most of the time, the numbers are pretty accurate. And then sometimes, once in a while, YouTube will really crush the traffic on a video. I can't tell you. Okay, so anyway, that's the answer from YouTube. That's why you can, tweet at Ben Collins, tell him he's fake news, and that unless he, addresses the fact that it's not a right-wing conspiracy because people are into Donald Trump. Okay. You could say that because I think most people watching this show that are looking at it at least on YouTube, and I'm none of those things. I didn't. Operation Backyard Brawl. If you're listening, Operation Backyard Brawl, which you go ahead and lump into this story, Operation Backyard Brawl, I very unpopularly called fake news, totally. And I am, in the end, after having them play a video of them trespassing, play it over and over, by the way, of Lewis Arthur and his team trespassing in this house over and over and over again, I made a video showing, these guys are trespassing, and I might have got them in trouble. And I think people shouldn't be leading people astray. I spent a lot of time debunking things that I think lead people astray, like I thought the QAnon thing did. Why I thought QAnon was so dangerous, because it pushed for regime change in Iran, supported basically a Zionist agenda. Strangely enough, it might have resulted in this story, this storm being able to form. I think both Sarah Ruth Ashcraft and Isaac Kappy both were somewhat inspired by QAnon. And I understand it makes you skeptical. I'm just telling you, I don't think the fact that they both are followers of QAnon, which it seems like 90% of Trump supporters are, it's not rare, that I don't take just that to think that they're part of a manufacturing a fake narrative, because there are so many people that believe in QAnon. So many people. We can't say they're all bad or they're all crazy. You just can't say it. We might think it seems, crazy to believe that there's a government leaker, and now millions and millions of people. I mean, I looked up Google Trends for it, all-time highs. QAnon. I get it. But I don't think that means it was So anyway, Jeff C. I'm sorry, not Jeff C. Call for an uprising. I'll play again what he said, and maybe a little bit longer clip. Somebody sent me a tweet that said he hopes I go to prison. I'll address that too. This is the general sentiment, okay? Just to give you, I want to make sure to address what people are saying, so it doesn't seem like I'm just ignoring it, and you can hear a different point of view.
It's all crap. And people need to stop gaslighting these stories, giving these stories air to breathe. End this story now. Stop talking about this story. It's not a story. Okay? Other channels, stop talking about it. Stop giving attention to it. If you are on Twitter, stop following this guy. You're being played off your emotions. This guy doesn't know a thing in general. What is he exposing all these stuff and the secret societies and all this stuff? Or is he just constantly making accusations, just like we hear with the John Podesta stuff and all this stuff? Just words being spewed that are going to censor people in free speech without any evidence, without any children coming forward, right? And people just eat it up because they're so emotionally attached. I get why you're emotionally attached. You don't think I'm passionate about this? You don't think I'm passionate about children and trying to save them? Victims of SRA? This is a PSYOP. TMZ, NBC, Daily Mail, you name it. They are talking about, they're covering this guy who has just in 2 weeks come out of the blue to become the face now, a face of some type of awakening movement to help children. It has been hijacked, folks. The alt-right has hijacked a movement of people who were giving information about whether it's signs and symbols and things in the past that should make people open their eyes, and other psyops and false flag events and shootings that have occurred, and it's turned into a circus where all someone has to do is just make an allegation. It's like, there's thousands of allegations out there about me, right? I mean, people just can make up whatever they want. Right? And then people decide okay, I want to believe this or I don't want to believe this. Well, this is the problem with this. is that when it comes to talking about kids, everybody automatically is believing it because we're aware of the cabal, the secret cabal. We're aware of what goes on in Hollywood, right? But it doesn't mean that you should light the fire under this guy Kappy, which is what the plan is, so that they can go, all right, now we need to do something else about it. This guy Kappy. Now he's got a gun. He's a threat. All these conspiracy people are a threat. All these people talking about the child rings are a threat. It's a Hollywood production. It's an actor. I mean, literally, this guy is an actor.
I have to object to this, by the way. Commonly heard in the truth community is, oh my God, this person is an actor because they have an IMDb page. I have one too, because I was an actor, actually. I think the last time I worked was 18 years ago. But still, it is brought up because I once was an actor and was in a movie and a couple TV shows that it must be a disinformation shill. Who exactly do we want to come forward in Hollywood to expose Hollywood? Do we have to exclude all of the ones who are actors because we have to assume that everything they do is them acting, that they're reading from a script? Are actors ever believable? Are they allowed to take the witness stand? Genuinely. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, I think I can leave it at that. And just take this. There are a few different things. Take this. Think about this. Okay. Right now, think about this first. Let's say I'm wrong to be doing this. That even though, I believe I did my background research, decided on my own that there was reason enough to report this story, reason enough to put it out there. People are threatening me effectively to not talk about it. BuzzFeed, a while back, had a total unverified dossier from Christopher Steele, British spy. Most people haven't actually read the dossier. The dossier, not only is the information unverified, it's a hoax. I mean, really, it's a hoax. If you read it, it doesn't read like a government report. It doesn't read like a secret agent. It reads as if it's a 15-year-old kid, making spy stuff up. It's a joke. No one ever should have taken it seriously. Yet BuzzFeed thought that they should, okay, which I think we can all agree, they probably shouldn't have, if they'd read it. They published it, okay, and yada, yada, yada. They started an investigation against Donald Trump. I mean, that fake thing, started an investigation against Donald Trump, the Russiagate hoax. Okay, screwing up, has diverted the attention of everyone ever since Donald Trump has been president. The worst thing ever. I mean, the dumbest thing ever, the most irresponsible thing ever. You used to get a FISA warrant, etc. Was published by BuzzFeed. I'm wondering, the same people that want me to go to prison, apparently, there's a tweet saying that, the same people that say I can't talk about this, I need to shut up, were they making videos about how the author of that BuzzFeed article, who convinced people, I guess, that Donald Trump really did that stuff and convinced people that there was collusion with the Russians, where are the calls for him getting fired or being shut down or having their website shut down? Where are those? I want to know, because if that's, the standard, I just want to know. I think there are other people doing more damage out there than reporting on something that people are interested in, because I think it's legitimate to report about. Not making any claims myself, looking at evidence, etc. The short answer really is, if I was worried about people being worried about what I was covering, I wouldn't do the show. I've done things that people hate forever. Forever. How unpopular was it to be against Q right at the beginning and then throughout? How many more followers could I have gotten by going on that? It's pretty unpopular to talk about the moon landing even. Talked about that. I've talked about flat Earth, even though I don't subscribe to that theory. I find it fascinating. I've talked about that. I've talked about things that I talked about an experience people have that people call the Mandela effect. People freak out about that. You know, I've talked about all kinds of things that people absolutely freak out if they hear you say it. And they'll use it to discredit everything you've ever said. And the thing I do on the show is to say things the way I see it, right? You know, I try to be honest about stuff. So, and I've been doing that forever, and regardless of how many people watch. It's not my fault people are watching this. I'd be doing this anyway. And I can't, you know, I was thinking about not coming on the air today. And I thought to myself, why would I not come on the air? Because any other day, if there was no, if this stuff wasn't out there, then there would be no question that I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing right now, except not having to answer to the reason I'm doing it. I would be doing exactly the same thing. And I don't, and you know, I haven't even been showing my ad for our t-shirt shop, truthclothing.io, but I realized this isn't a different show. It's the same show I've been doing. It just, it just so happens people are interested. So if I wasn't covering it, it would be a story that people are interested that's going completely unreported. So I guess that's the idea, is to completely ignore something that everybody seems to be interested in, to completely ignore it. I haven't endorsed the claims. You know, I've done a little research, and I believe there's reason to report on it. And this story is developing. You know, TMZ is on it, NBC is on it. You know, it's something that is, it's like reporting on QAnon. It's like saying, should I have ignored QAnon? You know, when I thought people needed to know to be really, you know, worried about where it might lead, and that it was taking people down rabbit holes and just making video after video, exposing what I thought, you know, should I have just ignored that too? Not as many people watched those videos, so nobody cared, you know, except for the people who love Q and, you know, are upset when they hear somebody doesn't believe in it. So that answered, you know, my question is, you know, would I do it without the criticism? And yes, and I don't apologize for anything. Well, except for my insensitivity towards victims of this kind of trauma. That relates to Sarah Ruth Ashcraft. For people who saw the last show and didn't see the show with Fiona, in the show about Isaac and Sarah Ruth yesterday, I mentioned that I'd been blocked. I took offense to it by Sarah Ruth Ashcraft when I tried to ask some questions. And a number of people much more sensitive to how victims cope with this kind of thing told me it was, you know, I was actually out of line, which for my sensibilities, I totally wasn't. When I listened to it, I said, well, it's totally rational. I'm getting an education on this stuff. I'm not a survivor of abuse myself. I have someone close to me who is, and I needed an education. So I regretted saying that, and I came out on the next show and apologized. Actually, on Twitter also, letting her know through Fiona that I understood, the mistake I made, and we're friends now. Even though we disagree about QAnon, we're okay. And Fiona, by the way, believes her story, and she said she was inspired to come out because, Fiona's stories were similar to her stories. For example, about hunting children. Both of them experienced being part of hunts. So, Call wants to call in. Okay, I'm taking calls. Man, he can get really... I just don't want to really lower the vibration, for lack of a better word. I will, but call tends to go on. I just don't want to get... call, just please, if you're going to call in, I understand you're really upset, but you're a really emotional guy. You filibuster, I love you. We're friends. I'm okay with what you said. Everything's cool, But honestly, you know, you can get a little wound up. So I just want to make sure we can talk about it rationally. That's all. And if it's going crazy, I guess I just have, I have the right to hang up, I guess, So hopefully people will be respectful. Let's see if that's him. Where is it? This is Nathan.
Hey. Yo, man, what's up? It's Mass.
Okay. Waiting for call for an uprising to call in. This isn't the call-in portion of the show. Not answering your call. I'm taking a call for an uprising, and I'll leave it open for 60 seconds. I think that's long enough. So, listen, guys. It's going to just be a lot of trolls. People are really, really, really upset. People think their livelihood is being affected because of me reporting on a story. For real. I'm basically in danger. I mean, when people think their livelihood is on the line, I don't know what comes next. Think about this. People who believe they are telling the truth about Jews that people need to hear are attacking channels that tell the truth about Jews. Channels that think they're about exposing pedophilia and exposing pedophiles are attacking channels that are trying to expose pedophilia. You know what? This guy's calling over and over. So I'm moving on. Okay? Sorry. I'm moving on. Okay. Let's talk about... let's talk about the TMZ story. And I've spoken with Isaac today. He basically said on Alex Jones, similar thing that he said to me. So it's not going to be much different. So I'll play that, okay? This is the big story from today. And you tell me, I'm not allowed to report on this story from TMZ. I'm not allowed to. This is a story in TMZ today. Paris Jackson... Headline, Paris Jackson and Seth Green, alleged victims of actor threatening shootout with cops. This is on TMZ, an exclusive. Wonder why they got the exclusive. So anyway, this is a story. An actor who allegedly choked Paris Jackson and accused Seth Green of pedophilia is now the focus of a police investigation on the heels of threatening a shootout with cops. TMZ has learned. Sources with direct knowledge of the case tell us LAPD's Threat Management Division opened an investigation of Isaac Kappy on Friday for alleged harassment and stalking of Seth and his wife, Claire. We're told Kappy has repeatedly accused Seth of pedophilia, most recently in this rambling video he posted last month. Additionally, we're told he allegedly grabbed Paris by the throat about a month ago during a game night party. The final straw for police was a threatening tweet he posted last Wednesday. Kappy said, quote, "In light of the interesting traffic happening around my house, I want to make something crystal clear. While I am a very strong advocate of peaceful disclosure, make no mistake, assets are in place, and if you kill me or even try, it will rain 50 cals in the Hollywood Hills," unquote. We're told the threat of a 50 caliber bullet shootout was enough for LAPD to open the case. Kappy's rants and alleged attacks are made more bizarre by the fact that he had a very friendly relationship with Seth in the past. We're told earlier this year he sent multiple letters to Seth and Claire, but rather than attacking them, he declares his love for the couple. There are a few interesting things about this story. First of all, it was leaked to TMZ. I will say, first of all, the tweet, pretty stupid. I asked Isaac if he regretted sending the tweet. He said, yeah. But, he says he's worried about his life. I've been on the other side of these cults before, so I understand it isn't very easy. But let's address this. Let's address this in as unbiased a way as we can. What I will say is that tweet is inappropriate. They opened an investigation. It sounds like they've been to see him, talk to him, and they didn't take him away in handcuffs. So they say there was an investigation open. He does say that he had contact with the police, and he's still not behind bars. Okay. Nobody is doing anything illegal. For those that would suggest I should be in prison, that would be for doing nothing illegal. I'm doing nothing that a normal newspaper wouldn't be able to do if they thought it was a story worth reporting on. I'm not suggesting anyone is a pedophile or anything like that. I'm just, I'm just actually, anyway, I shouldn't spend so much time defending myself. Sources with direct knowledge of the call, LAPD's Threat Management Division opened an investigation. So he's not been arrested, and I want to say this. The chorus of people who want to discredit Isaac Kappy for what he says, and I told you I understand all the reasons to do that. The chorus of people, what they say is, where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Which, by the way, we don't have any evidence of satanic ritual abuse. I don't think we have any evidence behind this besides the stories and reputations of the people telling them. But in any case, I'm just going to ask in this case, this is a story based on sources that say that Isaac Kappy choked Paris Jackson at a party, I believe. I already knew about this accusation yesterday because she was making an accusation in private, and I have screen caps of the messages. So there's a few things. It catches Claire in a lie, actually. So there are a few things. There are these letters, and then we have some text, some private messages from Claire Grant since everything happened, mentioning what's mentioned in this article, which I hadn't talked about. I'll give you Isaac Kappy's response to it. I'm just looking for my email with the pictures. Oh, it's the wrong mailbox. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, here. Where is the evidence? Is there a police report? That would be the standard of evidence that people are looking for from Isaac Kappy, who doesn't have a crime to report. He knows his friends are pedophiles because they told him that, allegedly, but doesn't actually have a crime to report. But most people want to make sure they have a police record. Fiona Barnett said, contacting the police is insane. Like I said, widely recognized as a genuine victim of satanic ritual abuse. She said contacting the police is insane. Nobody's ever seen justice for cases involving ritual abuse. Nobody elite really has seen justice for the kind of crimes they commit. But here, you would expect that people want a police report, right? Just to maintain the same standard. Let me just show you two lies from Claire. Okay. It's verified that they were friends. TMZ basically says the same thing. Yeah, there's a guy we knew in real life through mutual friends. There's a guy out there we knew in real life through mutual friends. We're pretty sure he's having some kind of psychotic break. We've notified the police and they're keeping an eye on him. Unfortunately, anyone can say anything on the internet. one more thing. Here. Truly, people are trolling us left and right, sending us death threats. That guy, okay, who it's been revealed she's actually much closer friends with than just being friends through acquaintances. Okay, she is. It's verified that they were friends. Truly, people are trolling us left and right, sending us death threats. That guy actually hand wrote me 2 different death threats. Once in August and another in January. He needs help. As a matter of fact, published in this article are those letters, which the article says, oddly enough, are just saying how much he loves them. There's something that these letters show. They don't describe exactly why Isaac Kappy thinks he has a problem with Seth and Claire. It only indicates that there is some sort of deep-set issue, at least as far as Isaac is concerned. And he's worried about his own safety. But just in no way is it a death threat. So, you know, what's the reason for this? Why don't we have them denying what he says, given he was a friend of theirs, admittedly, you know, and a whole Hollywood circle, which people seem to either ignore or not research. Genuinely, he was in a Hollywood circle of friends, famous people, you know, Dane Cook, and he's pictured with other famous people too. He was friends with Paris Jackson. He's friends with Paris Jackson. You know, that is that you know, regardless of his movie career, that makes him a Hollywood insider. No Hollywood insider has ever come out and said what we all think is going on in Hollywood. Nobody has. Here's a text of the letter, just so I can read it to you, just so you have all the information. Happy birthday, Claire. First off, I need you guys to know that I love you very much and care about you deeply. Please know that I wouldn't do anything to harm you. You are family to me, and that means a lot. I hope you can see that. Now, that being said, I think you would agree that it would be extremely foolish of me to blindly trust that my goodwill goes both ways. So in the interest of self-preservation, I have implemented a series of triggering events should I meet an untimely demise. MAD. But the news is that it will never happen if the goodwill is mutual. I didn't want to have to set this up, but everyone I've ever loved has done horrible things to me, and I want to remain alive. By the way, I saw the bait on the interweb. Ha ha ha. Due diligence on your part. So well played to you. I think that has to do with the Illuminati Facebook page. Okay. But I need to know, above all else, that I love you guys. I want you to be happy and healthy. Y'all, Bill, Bailey, Trey, have a massive place in my heart. Even Mac, even though he is a total dick to me, I love you all. Please crumple this up and burn it, okay? That's the kind of letter he sent. Unusual, you know, unorthodox, but not a threat. Is this a diversion, basically, from talking about the actual allegations that Isaac is making? Or is it that it's a totally fake story and the mainstream media and every truther channel on YouTube wants nobody talking about it because it's totally fake, totally not worth covering? Mainstream media doesn't want people covering it, and every truth channel on YouTube doesn't want anybody covering it. Why is that? Does that mean it's not true? Let me play you what he said about the. Let me play you what he said about the allegations about Paris Jackson.
Also, I really would like to get in front of this. I never threatened Paris, and in fact, I reached out to her yesterday. We texted back and forth, and I said, look, I know you're a good person. I don't want to bring you into this. They are trying to draw you in, because that's what sociopaths do. They use other people around them. They don't care who they hurt. They just bring them in. And I will say there is a lot more to that story. It's not relevant, though, and it's not relevant to the conversation.
Sure, I mean that's
okay. So that's his answer to it. Take what you will from it. It's not perfect. It's not a denial either. But I will tell you, there is no police report. There will be no police report with that story. Everybody wanted a police report with Isaac's story. There is no police report. And it sounds like it is more complicated. So that's his response to it. Look, you know, you decide, oh, don't delete messages from people who pay me money, but it's okay. A call for an uprising wants to get in. Okay, let me make sure I've addressed this whole thing. Call, and then you can. I think you have my Skype, so I'll just close up on this. I think then I'm done. Basically, I think I've addressed all the objections, and then I think I can just take phone calls. I read you the letter that Isaac put out. I talked about what ended up happening with Sarah Ashcraft. Oh, I will tell you this. For everybody who thinks this is the biggest disinformation psyop of all time to shut down YouTube and make sure that everybody gets censored, it did accomplish things already. People are learning about satanic ritual abuse. People are learning about elite pedophilia. And they might not have otherwise. And then, really, regardless of whether Isaac Kappy is telling the truth, last night I had Fiona Barnett on my show. 1,500 people were tuned in live late at night to watch Fiona Barnett. When's that ever going to happen? You know, if I hosted her on my channel before when I wanted to, I'd get 150 people tuned in. 1,500 people tuned in to see Fiona Barnett. You know, she's got like 20,000 views. I think that's great. It was her show. You know, I can't take credit for it. That's huge. That's huge for people to hear from somebody like her. Tomorrow I have a big show too. I can't even tell you about it. Tune in at 1 o'clock. I can't even tell you about it. You'll have to wait until you see the title. But we're trying to do good things. To be honest, I'm doing what I think is right. You know? And in the Bible it says, blessed are ye when others, you know, persecute you, and I'm not going to say it perfectly. Persecute you, say all kinds of things against you in my name. Rejoice and be glad, it says. When others revile you, try to discredit you. All right, I'm logged in, call. You can call in if you want. Hope this goes well. For everybody who cares about what we're covering here, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And you can support this show if you'd like without buying a t-shirt, but I can tell you, we take donations at patreon.com/lifttheveil. Call me. Is it working? I'm ready. There's somebody else calling me. Yeah, that, and then on the decentralized shirt or anything else, truthclothing.io. It's great, you know, it's really great. I'm just waiting.
It's coming through.
Oh, it is on Skype?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, call.
Hey, am I on?
Yep, you're on. And sorry if I said you said you're. I didn't mean to imply that you were going to be crazy. I just didn't want to.
I gotta figure out how
On the decentralized shirt or anything else, truthclothing.io.
we gotta mute the echo, right?
It's great. You know, it's really great. I'm just waiting.
Wait.
Oh, it is on Skype. Oh,
am I echoing?
that's weird. Yeah, I'm getting me playing through my ears on a delay.
All right, hold on before we get into this.
Hey, call.
Oh, shit.
Yep, you're on.
Went
And sorry
quiet.
if I said you said you're. I didn't mean to imply that you were going to be crazy. I just didn't want that. I'm just turning him down because it's playing my show.
We had to mute the echo, right?
Yeah. Okay, he had to tune out. It's okay. Chance for people to call in. Boy, these Jew trolls are just taking over YouTube. Nothing I can do. People who want to expose Jews attack channels that do that. People who want to expose pedophilia attack channels that do that. It's an amazing world we live in. A lot of people disagree. If you think, it doesn't matter. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching and listening to what I say. Hopefully you're in the majority. Wonder if he's fixing this thing. I play some music. There we go. Hey.
All right, now I should be good, right? No echo.
Yeah, I don't hear the show. I don't hear the show.
I know. Like when you leave the volume on the show you're watching, it's always that's what messes it all up. So,
what's up?
Nothing. No, I was calling in. I mean, obviously we have massive disagreements on this stuff, and I don't want. I guess you were afraid I was going to call in and be very, offensive and attack and stuff like that, and I don't want to do that.
Okay, cool.
I don't know why people think that automatically I'm like going to attack somebody, I'm going to kill somebody, I'm going to, it's going to be WrestleMania 3 with Andre the Giant here. Can people relax? I mean, can I talk? I mean,
It's testy around here,
It's very testy, and I know you automatically think because Jeff and me, have gotten along on a lot of things that I'm going to attack you and stuff like that. Well, I don't agree with him a lot of stuff, including some of the things about Pizzagate, which me and him were probably the two of the bigger people who exploited that, which never got credit for it. But stuff involving Christianity, I obviously don't agree with, but I can always have a conversation with somebody without somebody else's opinion. Doesn't matter to me. And, I do want to talk about this stuff because I am very concerned about it. And I think it's a huge issue. And you could look at it from a different perspective, and that's fine. But I think it should be talked about.
Yeah. Well, I watched your video, and I appreciate your point of view. And I wanted to make sure to address it on this show and kind of, go over to people who don't yet understand why I'm talking about it, kind of just what's going on in my head. But I think people would like to hear your point of view because a lot of people clearly disagree with what I'm doing. So, and you can let us know why that is,
Well, a lot of people disagree with what I'm saying too. So, I mean, there's obviously a lot of people confused, and I mean, obviously that's first of all, that's what they want from the get-go, right? They want, a lot of opinions which are just this or that when it comes to pedophilia and things like that. We all know that these rings exist. We all know that, how rampant pedophilia is. If you don't know how rampant it is and you don't have a clue of what's going on. But I think the massive concern I have is you could like Jeff or not, but I mean, he made great points. And I would not jump on his bandwagon and say, oh yeah, he makes great points. Despite the fact of the crap he says about Christianity, which, me and him could bicker about and we could fight about all we want to, and he'll laugh about it. But there's things in regards to the popularity and how this guy has just turned into this, mainstream TMZ, NBC News, Daily News, global news of a guy who had nothing, no following. No one knew who he was. No one cared who he was. No one cared he was in videos with a guy from Vanderpump Rules, which nobody ever mentions, which Pockets of the Future exposed, Tom Sandoval, whatever his name is, or to being in, in films in like Thor. No one's saying he's like a mainstream actor. I mean, I guess he's what you would call a jobber, right? Kind of a joke, a bad actor, a shitty actor, somebody nobody really cares about. But you don't jump into this stuff and then people all of a sudden are like, oh my gosh, let's make this guy the face of this movement. Let's let him become the guy who's going to save everybody from all of this stuff. And people go, whoa, is this? the problem is that the minions or the people who don't understand how thinking 3 steps ahead, right? They don't know what it's like thinking 3 steps ahead, 5 steps ahead. What's the plan? What's the agenda? They just constantly think of, oh my gosh, this guy's going to save kids. He's going to save kids in Hollywood and stuff like that. I understand that. I understand the perspective of that and caring and wanting to think that. But they don't understand that they're playing you 10 steps ahead. It's their game. They control the game. Guys like this jump into stuff like this, and they create psychological operations who are connected to guys like Seth Green. Oh my gosh, Seth Green has only been in Hollywood since what, he was 2 or 3?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure that he was involved in being abused at some point in time. It might be an abuser now. I don't question that or discredit that. It's just a matter of look at the narrative that comes out of the story, right? You have to look at what comes out of the story. The mainstream media just jumping on the story and going, what? What are they saying?
Well, they're saying that it's fake and that it should be taken off the internet. The same thing they say about QAnon, and the same thing they say about all the different people that crusade against, like Will Summers at the Daily Beast. Everybody, they wanted Operation Backyard Brawl shut down, which I could probably have almost agreed with, except I don't think people should get shut down. I mean, it's not much different.
Backyard Brawl. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff you did, which I told you, was hilarious. I mean, you were, the guy with the turd. He broke into a house.
Right.
I mean, maybe I missed some of the stuff. Maybe you believed it for a while. I don't know.
No, I didn't. And that's but all the same. I mean, the mainstream media is not doing anything different than they have about real or fake conspiracy theories in the past. I don't know if it's much different. This reaction.
I think what's different is, which is really sad, which is, I don't know. Let me put it this way. You knew when I started, and me and you talk, which was, I guess, maybe like what, a year and a half ago, maybe, right?
When did I first start making videos?
Yeah, or like even we came in contact with you.
Oh, I don't remember when we came in contact. Yeah. I started making
Pizzagate or any of that stuff, which is whatever.
Yeah, maybe around Pizzagate.
I started my channel, and I'm not saying that I'm the first, because I'm definitely not. There's many people who did way better work than me, who've done way more exposes than me. And I always say Ted Gunderson, which people try to discredit Ted Gunderson now, which is just hilarious to me. The stuff that guy went through to sacrifice his life, literally. But I know there's a lot of schizophreniacs in this community who think every single person involved is completely an agent and stuff like that, which it's sad, but true, because they believe this stuff. But there's so many stories of these rings and these people and these children that actually come forward, and then there's also this push on things, right? And I'm not going to act like I wasn't involved in Pizzagate, and I'm not going to act like I still don't believe that there's a lot of things that are true. But when it comes to victims and stuff like that, right, it becomes a different story. So with the guy who's come forward here, right, he's talking about Ashcraft, right, or whatever her name is, with Tom Hanks and stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And it's like, all right, I would think from somebody who had, I'm not saying you, I'm saying people who listen to your channel or listen to me or listen to this community, we should all be very aware and very mentally able and capable of figuring out that they are completely trying to hijack this entire thing as far as pedophilia goes. Because suddenly this has become the main talk. You weren't talking about this a year ago.
Well,
day in and day out.
I was. I spent,
Pedophilia was the main topic, though. And it wasn't.
I did take weeks to cover everything.
You don't care. But I'm not saying you don't care. I'm not saying that that it's not something that you're passionate about. I'm just saying it's turned into, and a lot of these guys are right about, talking about how this has become the topic, because this has a massive effect on free speech, because you can't go around calling people pedophiles, right? And David Seaman was doing that, and you were talking about it. You were going, well, David Seaman's calling, Podesta a pedophile. I mean,
right.
It's like,
you can't do that.
Right?
Right.
He could have called you a pedophile,
right,
and you could have done nothing about it except defend yourself, but because he hated you so much, he could have been like, oh, yeah. And I think he did. Maybe
I could have sued him. No, he never did. I mean, hold on one sec. Yes. So my answer would be, I looked into, before deciding to let somebody say what they're claiming on my channel, right? Which is what everybody's mad about, is because I let him actually say what he was, even though I challenged him on every single thing during the interview. I looked into his history. He is friends with Seth Green. You know, they're kind of pretending they weren't close friends. They really were. You know, he says that they told him they were into kids, and that he asked them about whether they sacrificed things. They said they're not into that. And then there's evidence that he was friends with them. He continued to follow up with them, these, you know, kind of strange letters, but not threatening letters. So there's evidence he believed what he is saying. And I don't think he, besides the fact that he believes in QAnon, which people can do without being crazy, you know, we've confirmed that.
Why would somebody come out of the blue?
Well, did he? Because is it possible for anything in this world to trend organically? I guess is the question. Because I don't know. I've never been part of a PSYOP. I can't control.
Been around for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I mean, Jeff made the best point possible, which makes sense. I mean, if you go into Hollywood, the whole point is to what? You want fame, you want fortune. Nobody's going to become an actor because there's like, I love to pretend I'm someone I'm not.
Well, I kind of did.
I love to just walk around and pretend that I am I'm a normal guy, but now I want to pretend that I have autism. It sounds great. I can't wait to do it. I do it because of those things.
No, I object to that. That's not the reason I got into it. I just thought it was a passion of mine.
I'm not saying you.
Well, you're saying it's necessary. It's not necessarily necessary. You know, Isaac Kappy says he doesn't care that much about money. He still works. He does voiceover work.
Okay. Well, then we can go to, you know, some of the things that he's acted in, right? Which, you know, which is, you know, obviously it's what I would call jobber work, right? It's, you know, it's not like nothing that he did was important.
Right.
Let's be honest. Right.
Yeah, of course.
And then you can go and you can look at it and you can say, okay, well, what else did he do? Well, he worked with Tom Sandoval of Vanderpump Rules, which I've done videos on that stuff, which I know people will be like, oh, it's not a big deal. You know, Lisa Vanderpump and all that stuff. They're all open witches. They all admit to being witches. They all admit to being involved in secret societies. Lisa Vanderpump is a witch.
Is Melanie Griffith a witch, by the way? Or John? How do you feel about John Waters, the director?
I have never looked into John Waters or Melanie Griffith.
I'm just trying to understand. Like, it's guilt by assation because he had a small part, you know, in a movie.
That's a fair argument, but I mean, how would he get involved in a music video with a guy who is mainstream on Bravo TV, who is making probably a couple $1 million just to be involved in it? Who's hanging out with Lisa Vanderpump, who's a high-ranking witch in Hollywood, who is recruiting people who openly admit on the TV show to being witches? I mean, you got a lot of open sources there.
Well, you know, he is friends with.
There is just no way. There is no way. There is no possible way that this guy is legit. And then let me ask you this, Nathan. Right?
Sure.
Between me and you, let's just pretend it's just me and you shooting the shit. No Jeff. No.
Yeah.
No. He hates you. He might like me. Blah blah blah. And people hate you, hate me, hate whatever. Okay. I have 250,000 subscribers on 2 channels. I built the second channel up, which is pretty impressive, which I don't think anyone has done after getting 1 channel deleted. Okay, so I have a pretty popular channel, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. If you think about it, and you think about how somebody like this guy can suddenly become national news and pushed in the mainstream with, I mean, what does he have? 20,000 people following him on Twitter?
I don't know, but let me suggest.
I haven't seen a wink, and people will be like, this is the problem that I have. People go, oh, you want attention? Oh, you're jealous because no one's mentioning you? I don't want to be mentioned. There's a reason that I don't show my face. There's a reason for all this stuff. Why would this guy suddenly become the face of a movement about pedophilia when people like me have been digging this stuff up, exposing it, going back to previous cases, and you know I have.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Okay, for a long period of time. Why would this guy suddenly become a face where they're going to show him on Daily Mail, NBC, TMZ, and all these places because he was an extra in Thor?
Well, let me suggest a possibility. The James Gunn tweets that were put out by, Cernovich, made a big splash and made a big story, right? And then the James Gunn developed into the Dan Harmon thing, and then that was a big story.
But I thought you knew. I thought you were one of the guys who admitted to Cernovich and them being alt-right puppets.
I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just proposing a hypothetical situation where maybe if the world isn't completely controlled. Anyway, the James Gunn story came out. Whether Cernovich. Well, he's friends with Dershowitz. He got involved in.
Did you see? I mean, I don't mean to cut you off. Did you see any of the videos I did on the James Gunn stuff? Does any of that make sense?
No, I didn't see him call. I'm sorry. I think that,
stuff with how the Guardian of the Galaxy people are saying that everybody, we need to reinstate James Gunn.
It's crazy.
And we all need to watch how we speak, what we say in the future, and let's get his job back. But let's watch how we talk about people's feelings and how we affect people's feelings, right? And you're smart enough to understand what they're trying to say, right?
Right. Well, they're trying to change speech, basically, or hide it. And what do you think they mean by that?
I think it's 100% controlled speech, right?
Right.
I mean, you can't speak against anything. I mean, I can't call somebody a fag. I mean, I can't call somebody this or that. I mean, it's if I see a guy next door who has a kid who's 5 years old and he wears his boy in a dress, I can go over there and tell him there's a problem here,
right?
Or help the kid or do anything like that, right?
Right.
And people will be like, well, why would you have a right to do that? Well, why would I not have one?
Right.
It's disgusting. You're ruining the life of the child. So suddenly all the rights of everybody are being taken away, but mainly the rights of the children are being taken away because the children are being raised as trannies and being raised as, the parents are telling them they're gay at a certain age, and everybody goes, well, it's a liberal thing. Well, it's not just a liberal thing.
Right.
It's a left-right fake paradigm thing. And the problem that we have is that people like this guy who has jumped in here, what they're doing is they're taking all this research, all this stuff. I have videos on things, and it's not about me, but all right, let me take the end. There's so many people, so many videos from Ted Gunderson down who have talked about rings and have talked about Aleister Crowley's teachings and these, sexual exploitations and SRA, and people will actually come forward. And then this guy comes out and he becomes the face of this movement. And suddenly he's like, please email me. I'm going to save people from SRA. I'm going to help you. And suddenly after 2 weeks, right? He's been in the business for how many years? A long time. Suddenly he's just jumped out, right? And then TMZ is talking about he's choking someone. He's got a gun, and he's like, well, it's a hit piece. It's a hit piece. Oh, that doesn't sound familiar. You know better than that. And I think that's what Jeff is saying. That's what a lot of people are saying. Nobody's trying to go, we hate you. We think you're an awful person. I'm definitely not trying to say that. I have no problem with you, but I have a huge problem with people like this who are hijacking this movement.
Right. Well, all I can say is I'm not convinced that it didn't happen organically, and that there's and if they wanted to shut stuff down, they could have already. I mean, they could just take me off the air. They could have taken Bill Smith down. I mean, SG2 report.
Wouldn't that be obvious if they just took you down?
Well, so when are we going to start seeing? When are we going to start seeing the censorship? I mean, how is it going to come in? And in the meantime,
didn't you see the censorship 6 months ago? Your channel got deleted once, right?
Yeah, twice already. Okay. And by the way, I covered the satanic ritual abuse stuff with Hampstead and everything. I would get a few thousand views. The people who saw it really appreciated it and stuff. If I'd done an interview with Fiona, which I really wanted to do, I would have gotten 300 people, 400 people tuned in. They don't know who she is, and now it's 1,500. And I wonder if people were awakened by this James Gunn thing, mobilized because everybody's been brought together by this Q
thing. You don't
thing.
think the James Gunn thing is a psyop at all?
I just don't know. I don't have enough information to say that.
Have you noticed the stuff that's going on Twitter? How everybody who tweets something is getting, pretty much raped in the rear end. Go to ESPN.com. Every athlete who tweets something from 5 years ago is getting suspended from a team. Every celebrity who says something, whether it's Roseanne getting her show canceled, this is a psyop. It's a psychological operation, Nathan. You should know that. You should be smart enough to know that. These are all they're playing all of us with this stuff. This is all about free speech and taking away this stuff. And I'm not on here to yell at you and scream and fight you, which I know probably Jeff wishes I did, but you know, in respect to you, I'm not going to do that.
Well,
But think about that. Think about all of these things, right? Every article on every website is about so and so tweets. So and so said this 5 years ago. Oh, they said the N word. Oh, they said fag. Oh, they said this. Oh, and now they lose their job. What do you think it's about?
I can't say, you know, the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, the Me Too thing started with that article from Ronan Farrow in the New Yorker. I just can't say whether that's a psyop or not. You know, it resulted in good things. You know, if it resulted.
The Weinstein thing was a psyop?
I really don't have enough information to say. You know, I used to say everything was, but I don't have enough information.
The thing, the brotherhood, they take the bullets for the team. They do this stuff to save one another's ass.
Right.
The agenda and the overall goal is the main agenda. Nothing else matters. Not you, not me, not the perception. They don't give a shit if Nathan Stoltman and a call for an uprising and 50 other people think that they're scumbags. They don't care.
Okay.
It's about the agenda, but the mainstream and the media and the society out there who is sound asleep, they buy into this paid persona or this paid perception of, oh my gosh, oh he slapped some girl's rear end. Oh my gosh,
Right.
he told some girl he wanted to sleep with her. Oh my gosh, this. Oh my gosh, that. This is all about censorship. It's about control of everything, from speech to online text to all of it.
Okay, so let me just offer this then, and I got to move on so some other people can call in, but I wanted to get your point of view on here. Okay, I don't think anybody can ever say 100% whether somebody. I can't even say 100% that David Seaman is a shill. Even though you'd think I could, right? But I can't say it 100% because I just learned I don't know people's ultimate motivations. I can't ever say I ultimately know. I can't, not 100%. Well, that's how I feel. Okay.
Well, it's the other percent saying that he's retarded.
Right. Exactly. Or mentally ill or possessed. You know, he might be possessed. But you know, he might have become an agent of the Matrix. You know, who knows? So, in that sense, so let me ask you, what if it's real? Then how is anybody going to know about it?
What is real? The guy who's reporting it?
What if because of this James Gunn thing and because of what Sarah Ruth Ashcraft said and because of QAnon, oddly enough, and where we go one, we go all, what if a real guy came out and just all of a sudden he was down at Comic-Con and he decided he's going to name his friends and some other people in Hollywood? What if it's real?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. How much have you studied mind control, psychological operations, and handlers?
Well,
that's what
I mean, you know that's one of the primary things I focus on this channel.
These people don't ever break away from their handlers.
Okay.
They still take orders. They, you know, listen, you got to read books on mind control, psychological operations, and all of these things that are involved. They come out of the woodwork when they're asked to come out of the woodwork. They're still under control. Ashcroft is what's her first name?
Ashcraft. Sarah Ruth Ashcraft
is a perfect example. Somebody who grew up in Hollywood, you know, she was probably abused, obviously. Not many doubts about it.
She didn't grow up in Hollywood. She grew up in she's from Michigan.
So in 2018, she suddenly decided to just jump out and just become Tom Hanks is this.
Well, no. That's not what happened.
All these things that have happened in the last 10 to 15, 20 years, they don't break away from their handlers. Their handlers have control over them forever, for life.
Okay.
And when they break away, guess what happens to them? They get exterminated. That's the truth for them. They die. That's why you hear about a lot of these celebrities who die. They whack them off and they die at a young age. Okay. So you hear someone like Ashcroft and you'll be like, I never heard of her. I don't know what she was in. Oh, she was an extra. And
she wasn't. I mean, this is why you got to look into it. Is she wasn't an extra? She grew up in Michigan.
Emotions of thinking about these things and realize
you're wrong
these
about
are
the
people
story.
who are brought into the industry and they're playing us now. This is their job now. Their job and their agenda is to play us. Our movement is bigger than anything that they have in Hollywood. They want in. They want to be a part of it. Look at my channel. I brought 250,000 subs from November after my channel got deleted and reinstated. I get 250,000 subs in. It's more than a lot of TV shows in some of these channels. They want the spotlight. They want to be involved. They know where to go. They know where the spotlight's at, and they know that people are breaking this stuff open. So
Right.
they're sending these people there. It's not like we're not important where it's like, oh man, why would somebody send Lisa Ashcroft? Who the hell is Lisa Ashcroft? Or whatever her first name is. You think I would have her on my channel and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful to have you. I'd have her on, I'd say, all right, let's talk about what you're claiming. Let's see the evidence, the facts, why it took so long, this and that.
Well,
they come out of the woodwork because their handlers make them come out of the woodwork.
Call, I have to get in because you're not letting me say. I mean, you're factually incorrect. She's from Michigan. She's never a part of Hollywood. Never said she was a part of Hollywood. Didn't just come out. She's been saying the same thing for a year, and it just so happens that somebody noticed and that story became popular, and it may have organically become popular, but she's not a part of Hollywood. She's not an actress. And if you read her stories, they're quite detailed. The part about Tom Hanks, I don't know, but it wasn't her initiative that got it picked up.
How would she meet Tom Hanks if she wasn't involved in Hollywood? Whether her parents were or not?
I want to ask her. I can't say.
Okay, so you can't say that.
I didn't say it.
She was a child. I didn't say she was a child actress who ran on screen and E.T.
Right,
but her parents or somebody was clearly involved, and that's how this is how the operations work.
We don't know. It's the truth. I mean, because her main story of
so Tom Hanks flew to Michigan, and he was like, at the airport, he saw her, and he was like, oh man, I'm gonna hold on for a minute here. I'm gonna follow this girl and follow her parents, and I'm gonna try to convince them that I want to have sex with this girl, in the airport, and maybe I can find them at their house.
Fiona Barnett was from Australia. Fiona Barnett's from Australia, and she was trafficked to Hollywood parties and to the White House and stuff. So why does it seem?
Look at the parents, Nate. You got to look at the parents. The parents are the ones involved in pimping and prostituting the children. The parents don't have the kids don't have a clue.
Right.
They're sitting there. They're going, maybe Ashcroft's doing the same thing. I don't know. Maybe it is real. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm not saying what she's saying is not real. I'm just saying you can't take the bait and run with this. You can't throw some guy who's crazy with, yellow glasses, who's claiming all of a sudden after 2 weeks that he is the guy who's going to break a story and do all this shit to save pedophiles. And or not save pedophiles, save, kids who are getting molested and stuff. I mean, I'm getting killed on my channel. I don't care. Go ahead, kill me. I'm trying to help people realize what's going on. You should too, Nathan. You know better than this to talk about this stuff, knowing that a guy like this is not a guy to be trusted. He was in a music video with Tom Sandoval a year ago. I mean, is somebody kidding me? I mean, please. Oh, all of a sudden he grew a conscience. All of a sudden he grew a soul out of nowhere. Okay, fine. Somebody will be like, oh, he changed. He was reborn. Okay, well, what the hell, where's the evidence, and what the hell took so long, and why all of a sudden is the Truth Movement promoting this guy where he goes from 5 likes to 200 or 2,000 or 20,000, whatever it is, likes. And all of a sudden he's a popular guy, and now he's the face, and now NBC's talking about him, Daily News, I get called to show every day. I don't see anybody out there ever mentioned on my channel, not even Info. He's on InfoWars today. I've never been asked to be on InfoWars. I'll never go on it.
Right.
But
I can't explain.
I would consider myself one of the bigger faces in the movement, whether anyone likes it or not.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you. I appreciate what you had to say, man. I got to move on to more calls, but I wanted to get your point of view out there. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad we were able to have a conversation about it.
All right.
All right, man. See ya. People don't know the facts, actually. Most people haven't looked into it. They haven't looked into how close it appears that Seth Green and Isaac Kappy were. They haven't considered the fact that they seemed to be close friends, and this guy he wears funny glasses, he's an artist, he's a Hollywood guy, claims he's done drugs in the past, but says he doesn't do crystal or heroin or anything, and hasn't done, that he's not on drugs. I don't think he is. Seems like he's able to live stream. He's weird, wears weird glasses. Have you ever known anybody like that before? Would you not believe them if they told you a story about like that because of how they dress or what their hair looks like or whether they have a big nose? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I looked into it. Most people haven't looked into Sarah Ashcraft. Sarah Ashcraft's a real person. Most people haven't considered this. I considered it. I read Sarah Ashcraft's story, which include hunting for children, which Fiona Barnett said on a show last night is one of their favorite things to do, these Satanists, these pedophiles, is to hunt children. Okay, she talked about it. And when I read that part of Sarah Ashcraft's story, I was familiar with Fiona Barnett's story, and I thought, wow, I've seen this before. It doesn't sound crazy. And she has a story about a specific incident of abuse, and then more with dates, locations, and it looks believable if you know about this kind of thing. Okay, I looked at it. And then on top of that, I looked at her LinkedIn page. She's not a bot. She's not a fake person. She's a real person. People have been in communication with her. She's been saying the same story for a year. Okay, she's been saying the same thing. It's not new. I assume it got picked up because of the James Gunn, the interest around that, and then the community built around QAnon that's able to disseminate this kind of stuff. Anyway, Sarah Ashcraft, right here, she's no longer employed with these guys. It's LinkedIn page isn't a crime. And she was a supervising paralegal for over 8 years. She was a supervising paralegal at a big law firm, an immigration law firm. For that, she was a senior immigration assistant at another firm for a couple years. She went to the University of Michigan. Her dad was, her dad's photographed with Obama. Her dad introduced Obama at an event. She claims she's been to the FBI many times, police many times. She's talking to Fiona Barnett, who believes her. She's talking to other people that I've talked to, and she's been saying the same thing for a long time. I don't know if it's real. And I just stopped talking about it because I'm being bullied. Then what am I doing here? What am I doing on YouTube? Nobody is supposed to talk about it, is what they say. Is nobody's supposed to talk about it. She has stories, you can read them, detailing the abuse that she says she suffered. She talks about her philosophy and stuff. The Hivites. She's an interesting person. She makes specific claims. Her dad is photographed with Obama. He was a DNC. He introduces Obama at an event. That's circumstantial. That there were connections. There were connections with politics. She claims HRC is involved. Why wouldn't we believe that? I'll take calls. I'll take more calls. So anyway, that's... I don't need to defend myself, really. But I appreciate that's what some people think. It's definitely a psyop. I just don't know. I don't think it is. I think maybe it's real. I don't know. Otherwise, why are people watching Fiona Barnett? When would that many people watch Fiona Barnett? I'm opening the phone. Oh, am I... Oh, let me open the phone. Sorry. I guess that was going on for a while. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nate. This has got to be the hottest topic going on. Am I right?
It certainly seems to be.
So this topic has to be trending or should be trending. Also, how surprised were you to see Isaac on Alex Jones? And do you feel like because you were the first one to interview Isaac, Alex was like, oh, if I do nothing, I'll look like a chump. This guy over here on YouTube's doing an interview. I got to jump on the ball here, make it look like something's happening.
I believe I was told, even though without confirmation, somebody I think told me before I had my interview with Isaac that he was going on Alex Jones on Wednesday. So I don't know if I was very aggressive about trying to talk to Isaac just because I was really interested. It's the kind of story I like. And, had some people kind of pushing for him to come see me. So I don't know. I don't think he did it. I don't think he probably did it for that reason. Did you find it interesting? I mean, it wasn't like a softball interview, right? I mean, from Alex.
Okay. I haven't watched it to the very end. I'm at the part where Isaac drops an F-bomb And Alex, who now has a beard, if you're not watching it, he grew a beard somehow. But yeah, I thought Alex was so transparently fake and showing his true colors. I mean, he acts like he never heard of this stuff before. I don't want any names. I don't want any names. And God bless Isaac. Isaac stepped all over Alex. I've never seen anybody pull the reins on Alex like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You mean in regards to the interview today, you felt he was restrained? Is that what you're saying?
Alex would talk over Isaac, and Isaac would talk over Alex. Isaac stepped over him. He trumped him, so to speak. He truly trumped him. And Alex had to hold back a little bit to keep from looking like a fool, in my opinion. Alex looked like a complete. I was embarrassed of him, in my opinion.
Were you really?
He acted like this. Yeah, he's acting like he never heard of this stuff in California. He wants to change it to some other topic. They're sucking the souls. Oh yeah, well, absolutely. These Satanists, sure, I've heard of that, but I don't know. Let's not say any names. You know, I was complete. And let's not forget, Alex Jones is friends with Charlie Sheen. Has anybody seen a Charlie Sheen video by Jamie Deluxe? Hello, hello. You know, you know what? Now that I say that, it makes sense why Alex would be nervous. Alex might be. This guy could blow some news on Alex himself. Is that too far-fetched to think?
Well, I don't think he's going there, but I mean, it's possible. I just thought I didn't see enough of the interview. I wasn't able to, with all the other news breaking, I wasn't able to see the whole thing. But just up front, you know, Alex and whoever his co-host was at the time, never seen before, seemed to be kind of skeptical, you know, approaching the story very skeptically.
Yeah, they were unnecessarily skeptic, in my opinion. In other words, they were not concerned. The backyard brawl, probably they would get them more concerned. When Pizzagate first broke, Alex Jones was crying on the air. Did anybody forget this? He's the one that loves children so much. He's going to cry on the air, but today he's not going to cry.
Yep. From an email that could be interpreted by some people different ways. You know, he's reading this email like it's his hot tubs and stuff, and crying about it, making the big deal, and then, you know, being part of really a disinformation campaign as far as the real information, you know, about what people call Pizzagate. I mean, the information you can actually wrap your hands around. He would focus on the emails and some other stuff and totally divert. And, you know, but in this case, what do you think he's afraid of? Lawsuit for naming names? What do you think he's afraid of?
Do I think Alex is afraid of, or Isaac?
Alex. What do you think he's afraid of by not having having Isaac name names?
Okay, sure, yeah. He could. That could very well be the case. But hello, we all already know who he's talking about. I mean, that's like Seth's response. Who made these accusations? I don't know what's going on. No, everybody knows what's going on. The first thing we said is this is trending. This should be trending.
Right.
Everybody should know this to a certain extent. I think Alex was playing it as safe as he could to act like he was on top of the ball. He's not really on top of the ball whatsoever. I mean, has anybody investigated Seth Green's house? And you know what I'd love to see? I would love to see a video of Seth Green. I want to know every single movie this guy's been in, because you look at who's in a movie with one guy and who they're connected to, and the string unravels, so forth, so to speak.
Yeah, and you can see
nobody's looking into Seth's background right now. They're all, but I find Isaac very credible at this point. I've been as skeptical as I could. To me, he reminds me of myself. What I would do in that situation, I would be freaking out. I wouldn't know what to do. But his stories have been completely consistent.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's true. There's some weird stuff. Like, are you a Q follower or anything?
No, God bless you, Nate. You've been following the story for me, so I don't have to. Since you had that one guy, that older guy on there, that said that it's not real. I believe it's not real. I believe the Q is about as real as climate change. You know,
Right.
It's already changed hands, like you said, and the claims are preposterous. I almost feel like there isn't really even a true Q following that's made up. Who would believe that?
Well, I've done some research, and believe it or not, millions of people believe it. Most Trump supporters, it seems like right now. And so I've had to learn to believe, wow, it's interesting. I can't say everybody's crazy. So, people who are otherwise rationally thinking people believe in it. I just wanted to know, what kind of things you naturally believe. You don't believe in Q, which a lot of people believe in, yet you put some stock in what Isaac Kappy is saying. So, and it proves that it's not a right-left thing, that you're not interested because you're a Trump supporter, or maybe you're a Trump supporter, but because of a QAnon conspiracy theory.
I'm a libertarian. I vote for whatever idiot they put up there. I voted third party ever since I was 18. I cried the night Bill Clinton was elected.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. I voted for Ross Perot. Get to know Perot. That was the slogan. Geez. And where is he today? Nobody talks about him.
Yeah. Well, it's been, libertarians, I don't know. Well, decentralized, right? That's what libertarians believe in. So I'm on that bandwagon.
Anything but the big two. I don't need a fire department. I'll put my house out if it's on fire. Every town has the nicest fire department. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
That's the nicest building in any town. But Nate, I don't know if I'm boring you or not, but I asked you this on Twitter, but I didn't get a response yet, kind of privately. I was curious, did you find Isaac Kappy's birthday?
No, and I wouldn't give it to you if I had it. I don't want to dox anybody, but...
Okay.
All right.
I thought I heard that he was born in 1980 at some point, but his IMDb page doesn't have his page on.
I think he's like 41, somebody told me. I think. 41. So, which would make him like 77, 76 maybe, depending on his birthday.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'm going to move on for another call. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Great job, Nate.
Thanks, man. See ya. Okay, I'll try to run through some calls. Man, it's getting hot in here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody who's supportive, especially. I'm libertarian myself. Spiritual sovereignty. Decentralize. And you can buy these t-shirts, by the way, at my shop, truthclothing.io. I'm into crypto too, which that makes you a shill too, if you like Bitcoin. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks. How are you doing?
Good. This is Bellagio Sampler. I just wanted to talk about Isaac Kappy.
Go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to say that even if you're in the lowest position, that you're paid very well, and it's a good gig. And for Isaac Kappy to come out and just career suicide like this is definitely, not ordinary, for sure.
Yeah, well, you could also say what would be his motivation when he has so much to lose? I mean, he hasn't been working as an actor in movies, but he does say he does commercial work and, and anyway, he says he can make money from his art, but I don't, who knows how secure that is right now. But yeah, well, and he's got friends to lose, he had a close circle of friends too. So there's a lot for him to lose. So, I wonder why people don't think about that a little bit more.
Exactly. And also, we know the general symbolism that they use and just how perverse the enemy is. And it's not left or right. It crosses multi-cultures, multi-borders, and we know what they're into. And we should look at that, too, the symbolism that's involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, well, that's one thing we can identify. I mean, the FBI's identified. You can see it all over things like the LA Sheriff's Badge, like Isaac pointed out. I mean, it might be a really crazy world for a lot of people to wake up to, if these pedophiles are running things at the highest levels. So,
and for the record, I don't believe necessarily in Q. Maybe at one point he was real during the White Rabbit saga, possibly, but I think he might be an AI. But I think what the enemy is afraid of is the Q people and the Q researchers.
Right.
I think they have a laser focus, and they definitely scare the establishment. But I don't know about Q per se.
Right. Okay, cool. I appreciate the call.
And that's about it. And let me just shout out my channel, Central Happenings Network on YouTube. Check me out.
Central Happenings Network. All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Thank you very much.
See ya. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if Isaac really considered the ramifications of what he's doing. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Nathan? This is James. I'm from Chicago. How you doing?
Doing great, thanks. How are you doing?
Cool, man. I'm doing really well. You know, I've been checking out your channel a little bit for the last couple of weeks, and I think you got a really interesting perspective on everything. So I wanted to just share my thought with you about QAnon, if that's all right.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Cool. So this is my theory, is that QAnon is Steve Bannon. That's my thought. I think Steve Bannon and Trump are coordinating within, between the two of them. That's why he's quoting 17. That's why he points at the Q. That's why all the people with the Q shirts are positioned behind the president at the last rally. And I think there's a lot of truth to what's going on in there, but I think people are being manipulated at the end of the day to think that Trump is the savior. And I think he's part of the cabal.
I tend to think the same thing based on my research. I don't know if he's part of the cabal. I do think there is a group trying to take him down, what people commonly call the deep state. I think that's true. Sure. I mean, you can see it operate through the mainstream media and everything else. But
I think he's a continuation of the deep state, is what I'm trying to say to you.
Well,
I think this is their next plan to get people so riled up. I mean, you see how people were yelling at Jim Acosta on CNN. At the rally,
yeah.
You know, people are getting real worked up right now,
yeah.
And you know, whether that's organic or controlled, I think that that if we were to believe that the Illuminati is real, and that there is such a thing as the New World Order, who are Luciferian, possibly shape-shifting reptiles, what have you, that this would be how, if I was one of them, this is how I would play it, by trying to put Trump up as the savior. Meanwhile, he's the one who's going to lead us into a fascist slave state.
You know, it's definitely a possibility, and there, you know, Donald Trump does have his own agenda. He has his own, deep state. He has his own faction working for him at a minimum. And
right. So what confuses me, Nathan, is how people take Pizzagate and Isaac Kappy's testimony and Sarah Ruth Ashcroft, how they believe that, and meanwhile these are all people supporting QAnon. Mm-hmm. That confuses me, because QAnon is pro-Trump, and Trump is friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Trump has been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. We know that Trump is not a fucking good guy. Excuse me, is not a good guy. So I don't understand this cognitive dissonance where I want to expose the Clintons. I think they murdered Seth Rich. I think they murdered Vince Foster. You know, I have these beliefs, but at the end of the day, I don't understand why this Q thing is getting so much traction in terms of support, when I think we all need to be taking a step back and questioning what the real motives are.
Yep. Well, I totally understand. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. You have a good one.
All right. See ya. Okay, I'm going to respond to that. Why are people believing in QAnon? Why are these people into QAnon? It's natural, I think. I'm just looking inside their head, okay? I think they, like, let's say Isaac and Sarah. Isaac had something to expose. He wants to believe that there's somebody out there who's fighting for justice, that these people are about to be taken down. Maybe was given courage, actually, because of the Where We Go On, We Go All QAnon thing. Maybe. Sarah Ashcraft, maybe the same thing. I just think they're into Q, like a million other people, a bunch of people that watch my channel, or at least come in when it says QAnon. I didn't put it in the tags today, even though I guess we talked about it quite a bit. I guess I should put it in there. So anyway, that's what I think about them. I think he was suggesting that it's suspicious. It's suspicious. Everything is very suspicious. Try to acknowledge that. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much.
This is Dave from Tennessee. How you doing, Nathan?
Doing great, Dave.
So I love the. I've been watching for a couple weeks. I love the ideas you put out, and I love the content. I wanted to ask you. I've heard you mention it a couple times. I want to switch directions here, instead of giving you my opinion on Q and all the other, Isaac and all that stuff. But you mentioned non-duality before.
Non-duality.
I want to get your take on just the human experience and this outside forces that seem to be affecting us in certain ways, and what does that mean for our own spirit, our own consciousness, and all the things in politics now that where we are attacking each other and pointing the fingers at each other and trying to grab and grasp this outside thing, or trying to control something in order to bring peace and contentment to our life. How does non-duality fit into this and with you? Because I've heard you mention it several times just in passing.
Sure.
I'd like to get your take.
You want to take the answer off the air? Is that your only question, or did you have anything else?
No, yeah, I'll call in some other time.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thanks, man. I'll answer the question, okay? All right. Hello? Who's this? How'd you get my number?
This is the number that I've always called to keep on your show.
Why are people calling this phone? Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Can I have you, let me... Oh, okay. All right. That's why. I think a long time ago. Let me call you back. Can I call you back at the number you're calling from? Okay, I'll call you back from my work phone. Okay. That's really weird. Really weird. People are texting me on my personal number, and I don't know how they got my personal number. There are agents that are going to want to be, I can't deny that people want to cover up pedophilia, are going to be into doing weird stuff. It's weird when I get text messages and stuff from people that I haven't given my private number. Apparently, this guy. And I don't remember every caller. That's one thing. A lot of callers want to remind me of who they were. Unfortunately, I don't remember every conversation. Running the show is complicated, by the way. I make it look easy. You see Doshi? He produces. He's producing right now. Producing good vibrations for everybody. Oh, I'm going to talk about non-duality. Remind me. I don't know why I went to this call, but remind me. Non-duality, very important.
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris, it's Nathan.
Hey, man. Yeah, definitely not an agent. I've had this number saved in my phone.
That's crazy.
You had that. You had like a African American girl on your show.
Oh yeah, way back when. Yeah.
Yes,
Cool, man. What's up? What's on your mind?
Didn't you discredit Kathy O'Brien?
I looked into Kathy O'Brien and her husband Mark, and I asked a question about it because he might have been her handler, the way things look. And so, but I don't think I disbelieve everything she said. But it's sort of like Ted Gunderson. Ed Opperman has been on my show saying Ted Gunderson wasn't clean either. But then you look, he did expose some stuff, right? So I think the same way about Kathy O'Brien, where I'm not real sure about her. It's not like I think about Fiona, who I don't think is, I think is just her own woman doing her own thing. Where Kathy O'Brien, I think, that former FBI agent, Mark Phillips or something like that. I think he very well might have been her handler, and that the information that came out of her may have been controlled in some way.
Well, Fiona, last night when you asked her how she met Kappy or how they came to know each other, she was just super vague about that, and she kind of just beat around the bush with that, and that kind of drew a red flag for me. What was your thoughts on that?
I don't remember the part of the interview you're talking about. I don't remember discussing Kathy O'Brien. It's certainly not asking her a question about.
Yeah, when she met Kappy, this guy Kappy.
Oh, Isaac Kappy. Isaac Kappy.
Yeah.
Okay, and that. So ask the question again because I was confused by the.
I apologize. Yeah, so you had asked her how she came into contact with Isaac Kappy, and she was just very vague with her answer. And I don't remember what her exact words were, but she kind of just beat around. She was like, we kind of met. She just didn't really have a solid answer for that, and it just drew a kind of a red flag for me, and I was curious what your thoughts were on that.
I'd have to hear that part of the interview. I don't recall being alarmed by it. I got in contact with her kind of randomly through Twitter, and I think maybe it was through, she probably just doesn't remember if it was through Sarah Ruth Ashcraft or somebody else that they actually saw each other. She's got her blog. She had a really popular blog article. She was probably responding to a lot of stuff. So I wasn't alarmed by it at the time. I'd have to listen to it again.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe, who's telling the truth. So just kind of.
So
I'm skeptical. I'm
so
still skeptical.
What do you think? I mean, do you think it's okay to talk about it, though? Generally?
Oh, absolutely, because you're talking about it from a completely neutral standpoint. You're not pushing a perspective, so I don't understand why you're being attacked for it. That doesn't make any sense. I'm interested. I want to hear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool. And so you're on the fence maybe a little bit. What generally are your thoughts? I mean, what generally do you think of the whole thing?
Well, like when you asked Isaac Kappy about if he had told people before he came out, and he said he did, but he won't give you any information on that. I don't know if you've gotten anything else, so that kind of made me skeptical of him. And then just that one question that you asked her about how she came into contact with Isaac, and she didn't really have a good answer. And then you had mentioned that you've been really trying to get her on your show, and then suddenly she's on your show, and that may be completely natural, but that also seems kind of weird.
It was crazy. Well, I made friends, or I followed her on Twitter, and I think she knew, like I've been, following up with these people because I've been interested in their story. And then it just so happens I'm one of the only people who's been reporting on it. And so I kind of naturally, and then people were recommending me and stuff. And then I followed Fiona early. I told everybody to follow her. And then she actually contacted me and said, hey, I guess she wants to do interviews is what happened. And I asked her if it was a fake account, basically, because people were saying it might be. And she said, do you want to do a Zoom or Skype with me? And I said, sure. And then I'm having a little Zoom with her, video thing with her. And I said, well, do you want to do the show? And she says, yeah. And I said, well, it's a live show. And she said, yeah, I'll put on some lip gloss. I'll be right back. And I said, wait, whoa, I wasn't talking about right now. She said, well, why not? Why not right now? And so I said, okay. And set up the show and did it. It was a surprise to me too.
Yeah.
So.
I just feel like, with that Kathy O'Brien thing, I don't remember your show very well now, but I remember after watching that show, I marked that in I have 3 boxes in my head, like totally not true, plausible, and totally true. And it was implausible, and then I moved it to not true. So I don't know.
Interesting.
And now I'm just skeptical about all of it.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to know what the truth is these days. Really
no
is.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Well, already keep up the good work, man.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man. Thanks for the call. Okay, cool. Not too sketchy, maybe. Okay, I'll take a few more calls, but I think we got the other opinion, so I think I can probably wrap up after this. That we don't have to make it too damn long. I'll just take one more call. That way everybody feels like, the people got a chance to respond. I'm not deciding which phone calls I should take and which calls I shouldn't take. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan. JJ Youngblood calling.
What's up, JJ? Hey, thanks for all the support, by the way, while we've been doing this.
Hey, no problem, buddy. Hey, I wanted to call and say somebody said that NBC Nightly News just did some kind of piece on Q and Kappy.
Yes, I have the clip. Thank you for reminding me, and maybe I'll close the show with that. I have somebody apparently sent me the clip, so
nice.
I'm gonna look at it.
Don't sweat the haters, man. I think you're right on top of it. I don't know when necessarily 100% of Kappy's story is true, but he's definitely talking the same as what a lot of the SRA people in the titles are talking. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. I'll thanks for reminding me about that video clip, because I'll play it right now.
No problem. All right,
JJ.
Love everybody in the chat. See y'all later.
All right, see ya. See, lots of love on this channel. Oh, I have to talk about non-duality. Thank you. Non-duality. Oh, check it out. Somebody sent me this. 2 minutes. You ready? Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, great. We're going to see it right now. I'm going to close the phone number. Everybody had a chance to tune in. I have other things to do, believe it or not. No more calls. For people who are calling, it's over. You had your chance. Lots of people calling.
Involving President Trump as he spoke at a raucous Florida rally last night. Supporters of an online conspiracy theory group were spotted in the crowd. That group, known for spreading sometimes vile falsehoods about A-list Hollywood stars and those they consider political enemies, as NBC's Jolene Kent explains.
At President Trump's rally in Tampa, the image was hard to miss. The letter Q on signs and t-shirts. It represents QAnon, a fast-growing right-wing online community that pushes false conspiracy theories, including that a child sex ring is being run by Hollywood celebrities and Democratic politicians. Recent searches on YouTube turning up bogus claims about Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg is a pedophile.
They use that as a cultural touch point to get people very angry at people who are anti-Trump.
The theories are spreading on Facebook too. The social media network has not responded to our request for comment. Online conspiracy theories can have real-world consequences. Like Pizzagate in 2016, when a man opened fire on a DC pizzeria because he believed Hillary Clinton was running a child sex ring inside. And last month, when a QAnon follower blocked the Hoover Dam with an armored vehicle. Today, the White House was asked about QAnon.
The president condemns and denounces any group that would incite violence against another individual, and certainly doesn't support groups that would promote that type of behavior.
But tonight, many of these conspiracies remain online. Platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter are using artificial intelligence to find some of the content and make it less visible to users. Lester?
All right, Jolene.
Oh, that's it? Okay, non-duality is coming. I feel Hanks and Spielberg are too precious to be used in a psyop. Yeah, I mean, totally possible. You see the attacks. It's fake news. Can you guys please tell Ben Collins. Tell Ben Collins. He can just watch the beginning of my video. Just to let him know that this is the channel everybody's watching it on the internet for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's something I'm not privy to as far as why people are tuning in. But I don't support QAnon. You heard the callers. The callers don't necessarily support QAnon. It's not an alt-right, right-wing conspiracy for people who are critical of Donald Trump. That's fake news. It's totally fake news. You got to tell him. Tell him it's fake news. I mean, really. Until he should do some research. Ask me about it. I'll talk about it. I'll tell him all about QAnon. I'll tell him how I think it's the biggest, LARP. It's the most successful LARP ever in internet history and world history. Since LARPing was invented, it is the most successful, most amazing, spectacular LARP in the history of the world. I can describe how it works and everything. I can really, if he's interested, I can tell him about that. It's not a QAnon. It's not a QAnon right-wing conspiracy. And Donald Trump, Tell you what Donald Trump said, and then I'll tell you about non-duality, which is something I'm very, very interested in. Donald Trump said about Jeffrey Epstein, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. People say, oh, he never flew on the Lolita Express. Guess what? He flew Jeffrey and Ghislaine Maxwell on his jet. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's madam, the one who procured young girls for him, procured the most famous accuser of Jeffrey Epstein, who got him in trouble, the one that actually got him sentenced. That girl was procured from Mar-a-Lago by Ghislaine Maxwell, where he used to hang out with Jeff Epstein. I won't even show them because people get upset. They're like, oh, you're drawing conclusions. Take a look at pictures of him with Ivanka. You tell me that's normal. Some of the pedophile busts, those stories were debunked. They weren't pedophile roundups. And Liz Crokin reported on it like they were. They actually weren't. So maybe some stuff's going on, but I don't see elite pedophile rings getting busted up. I don't see arrests. I don't see indictments. I don't see any of it. That's my opinion. I think the only thing about QAnon right now is don't trust the plan. You come up with a plan. You change the world. What's happening now isn't because of Q. It's because people stepped up and are talking about stuff that's dangerous to talk about. That's what's changing things. Don't trust the plan. Don't trust the arrests are coming because we don't know. The future is definitely unknown, and we make the future. Non-duality. Non-duality, we live in a dualistic universe, basically. It's like QAnon. QAnon's bad. There are a lot of bad parts to QAnon, in my opinion. However, for everything evil in this universe, there's an equal part of good, somehow. For everything great, there is evil, right? It's just the way the world works. So that is how duality works too. We're dual. Everything is the opposite. Non-duality and duality suggests that you are separate from God, that you are separate from your reality, that there's something different between you and the tree you see in front of you, or anything in this physical universe. Duality suggests that there's something different about those things. Non-duality suggests that there is no separation, that we are all part of the same whole, that actually we are equally responsible in co-creating this reality, that the reality we see and experience has as much to do with us as it does with what we believe we see in this illusion we call the 3D universe, which may as well be a holographic projection or a video game, which is created in your mind. Everything in this reality doesn't exist without your mind, your consciousness. And you can see that on a subatomic scale. Things are different. Things don't exist until they're observed. And that means that the observer is co-equally playing a part in creating this reality. That's why it's important, for you to be in sync with your higher self, with God, let's say. As above, so below. That's the way the world works. And I had to remind somebody earlier, that's what Jesus said in the Lord's Prayer, on earth as it is in heaven. So the world we experience, the 3D level, is equally determined by the 4D level, you could say, the spiritual realm. How we are in the spiritual realm is reflected in the physical realm. How we are in the physical realm is reflected in the spiritual realm. God is a part of us. God loves us, etc. Because we're part of that. We're all part of the same whole. Okay. In the Bible, John said, In the beginning was the Word. The Word, Hermeticists would say, logos, the original thought, creation. Creation came actually from consciousness. So, consciousness, there was no, so in that sense, there could not have possibly been any universe at all until consciousness was there to observe it, because non-duality. There is no reality without consciousness. And because of that, you can't die. It's impossible. Death is impossible. Time is unreal, as also. But if you were able to get snuffed out, your consciousness, the universe would actually collapse. Without your consciousness, the universe would collapse, as we know it, for all of us. So that's a little bit about non-duality. You can look up Dr. Robert Lanza. Dr. Robert Lanza, and you can hear what he has to say about it. You can also read The Law of One, which is a book that was allegedly channeled from Ra, not something that's not of this 3D world, something different from a different dimension, basically. The Law of One suggests the same thing. Do not trash Trump or imply he is the swamp. Well, I'm only being honest. So that's how I feel, okay? Which means, for example, that the Big Bang couldn't have possibly happened because nothing existed before us, before perception, before consciousness. So it changes the way the universe was formed. But that's my thoughts on it. I think it's very similar to Hermetic teachings, similar to the way John thought in the Bible. I'm going to move on with the rest of what's going on. I told you that tomorrow you need to tune in for a show I can't tell you about, but it's going to be live at 1 p.m. and it'll be exciting. Maybe just as exciting as the show last night with Fiona Barnett. I'm going to see you for that show at 1 p.m. my time tomorrow. That's when we're planning to start. You can find me on Twitch in case this is all about censorship. I haven't said anything that deserves to be censored. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/lifttheveil411. You can download the app and find me with Lift the Veil. You can hit the thing. I'm there for total twice as long as I'm on YouTube pretty much every day. You can find me on podcast by searching Lift the Veil anywhere podcasts are given away. If you like the show, give me a nice 5-star review on iTunes. You can support the show 2 different ways, with a donation to patreon.com/lifttheveil or paypal.me/lifttheveil, or you can look at our completely separate business, truthclothing.io, where you can get really, really cool t-shirts. This is one of my favorites, the decentralized shirt. We have a lot of women's style stuff that's made in the some of the stuff is made in the USA. I mean, it's high quality premium stuff sold for, good price, cheap shipping, fast. We do everything right out of the garage right here. And that's the reason we're able to, we don't mark up as much as other people. So check that out, truthclothing.io. If you, I'm telling you, I don't mind promoting it because it's good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and say this. For me and Doshi, for YouTube, I might show up on Twitch for a second just to play us out. So you can tune over there if you want to hear our secret endings. Until tomorrow, most likely, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. For me and Doshi, that is what it is.